Discovering cultures, the art of sharing occupations and roles. Hello, language learners. Welcome back to our series on English greetings and introductions. Today, we'll dive into an exciting aspect of introductions, sharing your occupation or role. But it's not just about language, it's about culture, too. Understanding cultural norms can help you communicate more effectively and respectfully in English. So, let's get started. Occupations often play a significant role in how people perceive themselves and others. In many cultures, including much of the United States and the United Kingdom, asking about someone's job is a common part of small talk. It helps individuals gauge common interests, social status, or mutual connections. However, this is not universal. In some cultures, it may be considered impolite or too personal to ask about someone's job when you first meet them. Therefore, it's important to be aware of these differences and adjust your communication style accordingly. Key point: be aware of cultural norms around discussing occupations. If you're in a context where sharing your occupation is appropriate, how do you do it? In English, you might say something like, "I'm a teacher," or "I work in marketing." Note that it's common to use the verb, to be, with jobs and roles, but we often use work in for broader sectors or industries. When to bring up your occupation can depend on the situation and the culture. In a business meeting, you might share your role right away. In a social situation, it might come up naturally in the conversation. Key point: use phrases like, "I'm a," or "I work in," to share your occupation. Now, let's talk about the cultural aspect. If you're in an English-speaking country like the US or the UK, it's often okay to ask about someone's job fairly early in the conversation. But remember, not all English-speaking cultures are the same. For example, in some parts of Australia or New Zealand, asking about one's job may come across as too forward. When you're unsure about the cultural norms, a good rule of thumb is to wait for the other person to bring up their occupation or role. This way, you'll be sure that they're comfortable discussing it. Key point: respect cultural norms and sensitivities when discussing occupations. That's all for today's lesson. Learners, we've explored how to share your occupation in English and touched on the cultural aspects of this part of conversation. Remember, effective communication is about more than just language. It's also about understanding and respecting cultural norms. We hope you found this lesson helpful, and we'll see you next time on our journey to master the art of English language communication.